Hello, fellow gamers. Cryptic Panther here. I don't know if you call this a rant or I don't know quite sure what to call this. It's going to go under my rant playlist. But yeah, so the other day I saw over Kind of Funny Games, their daily news, talking about Microsoft buying certain gaming companies, and I'm going to get into that in a minute. But then I went today. I was sitting here going, I didn't really speak about that. I don't know if anyone else has really spoken about it. So I thought I want to talk about it. So I'll do a rant. So I go to Polygon's website because this is where the story come from, and I'll link their Polygon.com. I mean, you know where it is. It ain't fucking hard to find. So there's two things we're going to talk about, and they're related for sure. So the article is Xbox One has a serious exclusive games problem. No fucking shit. A lot of the games, they come out, you can play them on PC and on Xbox. So they're like, okay, they may sell more games that way because then they get the PC community to buy them. I'll admit, Sea of Thieves, I've watched some gameplay video. I'm intrigued by that. I hear there's some issues with it, but it is a beta. It is a beta. It's not full release. I don't think it's full release yet. It's just a beta, right? Early access? Something like that. So, yeah. So, we're not going to talk about all their games, but... So, in this article, I don't know what this guy's smoking. This Colin Campbell cat. I mean, this dude must be fucking drinking bong water. So it says Microsoft has given Xbox head Phil Spencer a vote of confidence, promoting him to executive vice president of gaming. In return, Spencer will be expected to solve the company's immediate problem. Xbox One doesn't have enough big name exclusives. We've known that for a long time. We talked about that on a previous podcast episode. I've probably mentioned it, maybe even one of my rant videos. I'm not sure. Probably when I was shitting on the Switch. Maybe I shit on the Xbox at the same time. The Xbox One X, even though it's a shitty name, it's supposed to be a great console. And I mean, hey, I own a PS4 Pro, and I'm also a PC gamer. I just built myself a gaming PC. I don't know, maybe I'm a bit of a Sony fanboy, and I'm not scared to admit it because I mean their exclusives are fucking kick ass. I used to be an Xbox player. I used to have an Xbox 360. I mean, I play where my friends play, and all my friends either play now on PC or on PlayStation. So, I mean, there is some games on Xbox that are good. Maybe not the last Halo from what I've heard, but the Gears of War series, I used to love that. I mean, I loved Halo in the day. They've had some good games, but realistically, their exclusives have been pretty lackluster. But in this article, he says Xbox One is around 35 million consoles compared to PlayStation's at more than 73 million. So I mean, there's a huge difference. 73 million is a lot bigger than 35, a lot bigger. It's a 2-to-1 disparity, and it's likely and unlikely to get any better this year because PlayStation again has an amazing lineup this year. But excuse me. This idiot says, this year, PlayStation 4 will offer up The Last of Us Part 2. No, it won't. There is no release date, and we won't see any more gameplay or any more information on it until E3. So that's a pretty bold statement considering, one of the biggest fucking titles to be, touted as a Part 2. The fans have been waiting for it since the second they finished The Last of Us when it was released. How many years ago? Exactly. So he is right about Spider-Man, God of War, Dreams, Detroit Become Human, and he left out, Days Gone and Shadow of the Colossus, and he's left out some other games. And then he says, Sony has been busy locking down third-party deals with games, Destiny 2, Call of Duty, Star Wars Battlefront. Those exclusive, they get DLC early or they get special items or whatever for a console. I don't care about the third party specials. I wish they'd stop that. If you're going to be a first party company and have great exclusives, don't worry about the third party extra stuff. But I wish the game developers would stop that altogether so it's a fair playing field for everybody. So the third party stuff isn't as maybe prominent in forcing people to buy a console. Xbox One 2018 exclusives include State of Decay 2, Crackdown 3, and Sea of Thieves. Wow. The Scalebound, which they showed back E3 last year, that was just dissolved. No one ever saw nothing else of it. It's been long canceled. So we're going to get a little deeper into this article. There's a bunch of other stuff they talk about. Then we get into this section here, acquisition rumors. Some of the names being thrown around as possible acquisitions by Microsoft are EA, Valve, and the Korean outfit PUBG Corp, or Bluehole, whatever the name of that company is. I think they call it PUBG Corp, that make PlayerUnknown Battleground. Everyone knows what that fucking game is. So let's look at this. EA is a publisher for how many different games? A lot. You'd have to look them up to know how many it is, and I'm not looking them up. But you really think that Microsoft would sell Phil Spencer? Yes, take, I don't know, what's EA valued at right now? Like 30-some billion dollars? I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I thought it was in the article. But I skimmed it. I read it over, and now I'm trying to go back through it while I'm doing this, and I do apologize. But here it goes. You honestly think that buying EA would solve their problems? You automatically think they buy EA at 35, we'll say $35 billion. They acquire EA. Now EA, what are they going to do with that? Are they going to say, okay, we're only making Xbox and PC titles, and they're going to exclude and say we're not going to sell or we're not going to develop or publish anything for the PlayStation? Is that their goal? Because they just took themselves and limited. We're just going to talk console because I don't have PC numbers in front of me. We're going to talk console. So they're going to go from selling over 100 million, the potential to sell to over 100 million consoles, having both PlayStation and Xbox, to down to 35 million consoles to sell to. That's a big fucking mistake. So why, I mean, all it's going to do is make their bank account bigger, because they'd be stupid to cut out the 73 million PlayStations. Because those 73 million people are playing on PlayStation aren't going to run right out the next day, the second EA has been acquired, and purchase an Xbox One. I know I fucking wouldn't. But that's just, to me, is fucking stupid. Like, EA be dumb to sell. I mean, I know that we say EA does dumb shit all the time, so who knows? But I still can't imagine the heads of Microsoft, the CEOs, that are that worried about their gaming market would spend, like I said, I keep saying $35 billion because I'm positive I'd seen the numbers in here somewhere in this article. Maybe I was reading another one. I know I was reading a couple of them. Maybe it was mentioned on the Kind of Funny Games cast. Maybe that's where I got the numbers from. But even still, like I said, I'm going to say $35 billion, whatever it is. You think that they're going to spend a good chunk of their money to purchase that gaming developer, and then say, boom, we're cutting off 73 million potential sales? Stupid. It's not gonna make anyone buy an Xbox. They may take some of the titles and make them exclusive. They definitely would give themselves all the exclusive, the third-party exclusive stuff that Sony has. That those definitely all be going to Xbox and PC. So they just make themselves more money. It wouldn't to me generate more console sales in a whole. It would do some, because some people would just say, well, screw it. If they're all going to put the games, they're going to develop the games, and they're owned by Microsoft, they must as well buy a console. Well, some people will. I know I wouldn't. But yeah, so the next one we'll get to is Valve. Valve. There's no way Valve would sell to Microsoft. I'm going to say, I shouldn't say no way. I can't imagine the long history and the fan base behind Valve would fucking revolt if Gabe, the gaming god known as Gabe Newell, decided to just cash out and sell everything to Microsoft. That to me is, that's just, I just can't see it. I see EA selling first, because EA's fucking, they're all a bunch of money grubbing whores. We know that. fucking. The only problem is whenever they sell to Microsoft, would it include all the DLC, or would they have to buy a season pass when they buy the company? And next on the list is the only one that I can see that's even, you know, remotely possible would be buying PUBG Corp. But we don't know if that company is even working on anything else. Maybe I'm just out of the loop with, well, because I haven't been following the PUBG group. But are they even developing anything other than PUBG right now? So they would alienate potential 73 million customers by buying PUBG and then putting it PUBG only on PlayStation, or only on PC and only on Xbox. We know it's on both those now, but it's a time exclusive on Xbox. Eventually, it's coming to PlayStation once the game gets a little further developed. I guess Sony's being a little more stricter with the game before it comes to console, because I know Xbox had some problems when it was initially launched. We know PC did. Anyone that played it before it went to version 1.0. But yeah, I mean, seriously, I can't see any of these potentially being, huge. I mean, we all know that they purchased Minecraft for like $2.5 billion. And I mean, they still release it on every platform. We know that. But I don't know. It just seems really shady that they would, well, not shady, but I'll call me skeptical that actually go out and they would, instead of going to their first party developers and getting them to make quality games to generate the console sales, they would just go out and throw money at the problem. Oh, I got an idea. We'll just take my wallet out and we'll throw it into the fucking sea, and if we catch a big fucking fish, then that's what we'll feed our gamers with. Give me a fucking break. Get your first party developing teams on the fucking ball. Get them to develop some proper fucking titles. Then you'll gain your customers. That's what Sony has done. So, like I said, this Polygon article, I mean, you can read it. I'll link the direct article, the two of them actually. I'll link them both in the description for this. But yeah, it's I'm like, not a fucking chance. So then the next article I seen, it says right here in the title, Microsoft purchasing Valve would pay for itself in profits and power. So this Ben Kushera, he piggybacking on Colin Campbell's idiot idea, saying that Microsoft is going to purchase Valve. So he's just piggybacking. So he had nothing else to write this week, so we figured he'd just, copy paste from Colin and make his own article. It says Microsoft needs help when it comes to exclusive games, and acquiring developers or publishers with a great game selection is the easiest way to get that help. Right, but they still sell, Valve and even EA still sells a lot of their their current and even previous titles, so they can't just all of a sudden pull those off the shelves and no longer sell them to the competition. So it's only going to be ongoing. So all the development and all the marketing would go solely to Microsoft products, in other words, PC and Xbox. To me, it's a bad move. So it says here, but Valve is unlikely source or relief from Microsoft. Valve doesn't need the money, and a few people involved with the company, studio head Gabe Newell included, have any reasons they wouldn't have any reasons to sell. But it's still reported that Newell owns the majority of Valve, and often appears from the outside as if Valve is more or less on cruise control. If Newell wanted to focus on something else in his later years, there'd be a good chance to make a clean break while pocketing a fortune. That's true. But I mean, not everybody's after money. You got to remember that. I mean, would Gabe want to see what Microsoft would do with his former company? Some people, their companies are their babies, man. They wouldn't want to just hand it over to any fucking idiot. So, Steam owns a huge chunk, and if not the majority of PC gaming in the United States, and not just United States. People play PC games all over the fucking world, Just fucking Christ. People use the service to buy games. Developer uses the service to sell games, and Valve takes a cut of everything that happens on the platform. Microsoft is interested in PC gaming for the obvious reason, but it lacks the exclusive games that would draw players to its own standard online stores and services. That would change overnight if Microsoft controlled Steam. So is he buying Steam or are they buying Valve? Because Valve's a gaming company. Steam is something else, right? Right? Valve and Steam are not as a combined entity, because Valve is a gaming company, a developer, publisher, right? Right? I'm getting that right? Correct me if I'm wrong. So, they think that, automatically buying Steam or Valve or whatever would instantly, Microsoft would have a stronghold on PC gaming. Well, duh, because they own the goddamn platform. It's not going to, and Microsoft's online store, from what I've heard, is a fucking mess on PC. So, would they just migrate everything from there over to Steam and leave it there? Or would they fucking try to migrate Steam onto the Microsoft store and fuck everything up? Oh, man. And then it goes on to saying, laugh all you want. Star Wars was a joke too until Disney bought Lucasfilms and threw money and talent at bringing the franchise back. And that seems to be going okay. Half-Life 3 has been a running joke in the video game industry for so long, I had to imagine anything actually happening with it. And that's mostly because Valve itself doesn't have much of an incentive to go back to the series. The company is making too much money on everything else to waste time or energy on follow-up on one of the most beloved games of all time. But Microsoft sure as hell has a reason to invest in Half-Life 3, and if it were given the opportunity. So they're using the old Half-Life 3 trope to fucking clickbait, to write a story, because they had nothing else to write about this week. God, leave fucking Half-Life 3 alone. Fucking hell, everybody. Oh, the fucking cricket farts in fucking Arkansas on a fucking Tuesday, Half-Life 3 is going to be released. Jesus Christ. Like I said, they may have deep pockets, but, if they haven't been able to maintain and build their brand of what they started with, then there's got to be a problem somewhere. Microsoft and Xbox fell from grace because at one time it was Xbox or nothing, right? Because Sony struggled for a lot of years to catch up and to pass Microsoft, and they've done it. They've done it handily. They've run all over them. So, is an acquisition that makes too much sense to happen. Microsoft needs to make a big move to try and take control of gaming. The most powerful console in the world is just one step toward the goal. Buying Valve, for whatever the cost would be, would help the company in every possible way. No, it fucking wouldn't. God, the acquisition would likely pay for itself within time. Microsoft would have access to the data of all those PC gamers, and the exclusive problem would disappear with the day and date announcement of Half-Life 3 development. Look at it this way. Why bother buying PUBG when the game is already a timed exclusive on your platform and could instead own the store on which it is sold? Microsoft would have a lock on PC gaming space in a way you can only dream of right now, and it all would take is one acquisition. Is it going to happen? ? It's unlikely, but it's not impossible. And Microsoft is just a company to write a check with enough zeros to make it happen. So all this fucking conjecture, all of this bullshit, all summed down in the last line. Is it going to happen? It's unlikely, but it's not impossible. You know what? Maybe Sony will fucking buy Valve next week. Maybe Sony will buy Microsoft. Maybe some unknown group of Saudi billionaires will buy all the gaming companies and they'll close them all down and we'll be all forced to go back to playing Pong on a fucking CRT TV. Give me a fucking break. The writers at Polygon are stupid. Plain and simple. Microsoft is not buying EA, and Microsoft is not buying Valve. Just because Phil Spencer has made some strides, the big wigs at Microsoft, I'm not talking the gaming division, I'm talking Microsoft, are not going to let the dude write a $35 billion check to anybody. So, the writers of Polygon, find some better stories to write, or put at least a satire at the start of your article.